All right, well, hello there and welcome back again. Module 4, Lesson 3. Get things going here. All right, so in Lesson 3, what we're going to be talking about is deal fees. So we've already talked about generating some extra cash, and I also introduced the idea of not using all of your cash flow for reducing the mortgage pay down, and explained the ramifications of doing that, though, that you're going to either need more properties or you're going to actually have to defer the extend the closing time or the amount of time you need in order to reach your ultimate goal. But it is an option for you. Today what we're going to do is introduce to you the concept of deal fees. So let's first of all take a look at what a typical transaction looks like. So we're going to have a purchase price of $325,000, which means that the mortgage is going to be, when it's at 80% loan to value, the mortgage will be $260,000. So you have an investor or partner who's going to come up with the 20% down for this, which is $65,000. You also want them to cover the closing costs. So depending on the market that you're in will dictate what these closing costs are. You are going to have legal fees, and you should have an inspection fee, and those could be anywhere between $2,000 and $2,500. And then on top of that, you may have some property tax, some land transfer tax. So where I live, the closing cost would probably be $6,500. There's a region in Alberta and Canada, for example, the closing cost could be down as low as $3,000. So it's literally all over the map, but for this exercise I decided to use $6,000. So that means that the total investment by our investor is $71,000. Now, over the course of 5 years, the investor can expect to achieve a return of approximately $60,000. Now, I'm selecting that number based on past experience. That number, though, is going to be all over the map. It depends on the market that you're investing in, what the appreciation rate is, depends on the interest rate you're paying on your mortgage, depends how much you paid for the property, depends how profitable the property is. There's a lot of factors that come into play here, but for argument's sake, we're just going to select the number of $60,000. So if the investor is going to earn $60,000 over the course of 5 years, that's approximately a 13.5% return annually on their investment. Now this includes the appreciation, the principal pay down, and the cash flow, and this is typically based upon a 50-50 split with you. Okay, so that's their portion, that's their return on their investment. All right, so what I'm going to propose is, after the closing costs, we're also going to add in a deal fee. Now, this deal fee can be whatever you feel comfortable charging. It could be 1%, it could be 5%. I can't imagine that too many investors would be happy with a 5% deal fee. In this particular case, I used a 2% deal fee of the purchase price, which works out to be $6,500. So that means now that the investor has to bring $77,500 to the table. That $6,500 goes into your pocket. That's the cost of you bringing, for your investor, that's the cost for bringing the deal to him and the opportunity to him or her to invest with you as well. So that $6,500 is going to be a lump sum of cash to you. So the investor is now into this project for $77,500, but the earnings are still going to be approximately $60,000. So the return on their investment has dropped down to 12% annually. And it still includes the appreciation, principal pay down, and the cash flow, because you're still structuring the deal moving forward as 50-50, 40-60, whatever it is you negotiated. So it includes all three profit centers. So the question is, and I know a lot of people are thinking this, why would anybody pay a deal fee? Well, you have to think of who are the people that you are presenting these opportunities to. These are people who don't have the education about doing this. They don't have the knowledge about it. They don't have the means to do it. In other words, they don't have the time, the energy, or whatever the case. A lot of individuals, high income earners, people like doctors, even lawyers, dentists, people who work in the oil fields, who are or out on oil rigs, whatever the case may be, who travel a lot. They are high income earners, but they're not home to take care of the transaction. They don't have the time, the energy, or the interest in becoming educated to learn how to do it. So it's much easier for them just to hand the money over to somebody else to do the investment for them. Now, they're already doing that, and you've probably been doing this in the past as well. When you've had money to invest, who do you hand the money over to? You go into the bank and you talk to the investment specialist, or you contact the investment specialist for some big company, and they take your money. You just willingly hand it over to them, and they take your money and invest it into products that they recommend you invest in, simply because you consider them to be the experts. They're really no more of an expert than you are. They've just been introduced to and educated about these funds. Yet they're being paid as a commissioned salesperson to invest your money into their own funds. And in this particular case, what you're doing is you're taking your expertise, your knowledge, and you're offering it to these investors to take their money and invest it in something that is even more secure than those mutual funds are. Again, it comes back to education. Now, I know the beginners, the people out there who are just starting with this process, you're thinking, well, I haven't even done one deal. I am not an expert. How can I even portray myself as an expert? And that's fair. I get that. I understand that. So if you can't do it for yourself, you have to remember that you are part of a team, or the team is part of all the team members are part of your big team. So your team and yourself are the experts in this. You're not doing it alone. You've got realtors, you've got lawyers, you've got mentors like myself, you've got other educators, other partners to help you do this. You have to start to identify yourself as the expert, market yourself as the expert, present yourself as the expert, and act as the expert, and people will automatically entrust their money, their savings with you. All right, so then there's also the fact that you find the deals. These people don't have the time or the energy or the knowledge, as I said earlier. Well, they don't even know where to go looking for good deals or what is a good deal. So you know how to find the deals. You know where to be looking. You've got your team helping you. You understand when you see a deal, whether it's a good deal or not, because you've been studying the market. So when a house comes on the market, you see that it's a good opportunity, you jump on it quickly. Whereas, if this investor, joint venture partner wants to do it on their own, they're going to be looking at the deals and say, well, I think it's a good deal. It looks like it might be a good deal. I don't know. But in the meantime, people like yourself, the experts, have gone in and scooped up that good deal. So you have to recognize that this is your skill set. This is your expertise. This is what you do. Then there's actually managing the deal structure itself. Now, I know a lot of people have bought their own single-family home, and over your lifetime, you may have bought 3 or 4 homes on average. That's the average what most people do. However, it's not like you do a deal a month or even 2 or 3 deals a year so that it becomes second nature to you. There is a lot involved in doing a real estate transaction. And the rules are continually changing. So you may have done a deal 4 years ago thinking, oh, this is a piece of cake. I know how to do this. But the rules have all changed. You don't know how to do it. And you make mistakes. It can cost you money, lost opportunities, whatever the case may be. So you have to recognize that you are the maestro here. It's like a maestro conducting a symphony. Symphony. There we go. There's all different parts of the symphony that need to come together. If you're not out there orchestrating things properly, then it'll just be chaos. So that's what you bring to the table. You bring this organization to the table, and you take care of everything for your investor. Then there is the fact that you're going to manage that property. And a lot of people have no idea what's involved with respect to managing. They just think that, well, I've bought the property, now I'll put a tenant in and I'll forget about it and I'll just collect my rent every month. But there's a lot more to it than people realize. So you're going to bring this to the table as well. So when you're presenting to a joint venture partner, you have to make sure they're aware of all of these things that you're going to be doing in the transaction, so that they see there's value that you're bringing to the table. It's not just a matter of you bringing a deal and then reaping the rewards. There's a lot of work involved that you're going to be involved with on a weekly, monthly, annual basis as well. And you're going to take that off of the joint venture partner's plate. And all you're going to do is you're going to do you may start out with a monthly or quarterly report to your joint venture partner. Eventually, it might get down, twice a year, or maybe only an annual report to your investment partner. The whole point of this is that it's hands-off for the investor. They literally do not have to do anything other than hand the money over. They've got peace of mind because they know that you're going to manage the property. You're responsible for taking care of all of that. They know that you've got the expertise of managing the people, and they know their initial investment is going to be secured against a good, solid investment, unlike when they hand their money over to the bank to invest in mutual funds or wherever. Those mutual funds could literally disappear, or they could drop in value, so that your $70,000 investment didn't earn 1 penny, and in fact it actually lost money and is now worth $35,000. That is not going to happen with real estate, because real estate holds its value. It's also insured, so in the event of a fire or a disaster, there's insurance to pay and compensate for the rebuilding of that property, so the $70,000 investment is still safe and secure. Plus, where else are they going to get a good return of 12%? And I think we would agree that 12% is an excellent return for just handing your money over, doing nothing, completely hands-off, and is secured against a good, solid investment like real estate. So these are the things that you need to be able to explain to your joint venture partner to justify your fees. To justify getting into the deal with you, to give you the 50-50 split or whatever it is you've negotiated, but also to give you that deal fee up front. So you've now justified the deal fee. How do you actually get paid with that particular deal fee? Well, you're going to want to include the deal fee and how it gets paid inside the joint venture or the co-tenancy agreement. So this is your way of protecting yourself and your interests, especially if you have you're not registered on title with the property. So if the property is in the joint venture partner's name completely, then you are vulnerable, because the individual, the joint venture partner, they could sell that property and you could lose. Well, you're not going to lose any money because you don't have any money in it, but you can lose the opportunity. So you want to make sure you create that co-tenancy agreement and have that co-tenancy agreement registered against the title of that property. And inside that co-tenancy agreement that they sign before you get to the point that you remove conditions and you've bought that property, you have this co-tenancy agreement completed with your partner. Inside that agreement, they have agreed to pay you that 2% or whatever the number is that you've agreed upon. And that's the finder's fee that you're going to get paid. Now, when and how you get paid for that is entirely up to you. You might get a portion of it. Maybe you'll get 20% of that payment up front, and you'll get 80% at time of closing once the deal changes title into the joint venture partner's name. It depends on your relationship with your joint venture partner. Now, just a word of caution here, though, because if you receive money for doing a real estate transaction like this, and you could be deemed to be trading in real estate. And if you're going to be trading in real estate, by law, you need to have a real estate license. Now, I am very confident that that's the same across the country, in the US and in Canada. Now, there may be some slight changes in the interpretation of the rules in each state or province. However, generally speaking, If you are receiving money for facilitating a transaction in real estate, you could be considered trading in real estate. Therefore, you want to make sure that you have it worded in such a way that it's not going to be considered trading. So that's why you want to talk to your lawyer to make sure that you use the proper terminology. The bottom line is, though, if you're only doing 1 or 2 of these deals a year, you'll most likely slide under the radar and it's not going to be an issue. It's when you start doing them on a regular basis and you're making a living, you're deemed to be making a living by doing this, then you could potentially be breaking the law. So you just want to make sure that your lawyer is aware of what it is you're doing and how you're doing it, so they can help you structure the verbiage for your particular jurisdiction. All right, so my top 3, and I actually have 4, methods of how to be paid or how to make money now. The first one is going to be the deal fees, simply because it's the fastest and the easiest. So every deal that you actually put together, you're going to receive a chunk of cash. So that's definitely the easiest. The second one then is going to be the assignments or the joint venture deal. So that's where you do a joint venture deal with somebody that's not part of your portfolio, not part of your game plan for retirement, but you're just trying to generate some cash flow. So you go out and you find a property. Maybe it doesn't suit your portfolio because it's not the right style of property, but that's okay. It still cash flows. And you buy that with another investment partner, and you make the agreement where they keep the appreciation, they keep the principal pay down, and you keep the lion's share, if not all of, the cash flow from that property. Maybe you do 2 or 3 of those deals on the side. That generates the cash flow that you need, that will meet your needs, not your wants. That'll meet your needs today, so that you can then focus on doing the other deals that are structured towards your 5 homes to freedom. The number 3 way is restructuring personal finances. I believe there's always room in your personal day-to-day life, how you live, that you can save some money. Now, I'm also a believer that you should never reduce your lifestyle to fit into your income. I believe it's the reverse. You should increase your income to fit your lifestyle. So it sort of goes against what I believe in, but I believe there is room there that you can adjust your personal finances at the same time. And that's why I put in number 4 as well, because I'm not 100% sold on number 3, although I do believe in it. And the number 4 method to get paid now is the multi-level marketing. The challenge for the multi-level marketing is that it is more of a slow-growing business, so you're not going to see a personal savings. You're not going to see cash flow today necessarily. That's why with number 3, the restructuring of your personal finances, you're going to see some immediate cash flow savings that you can apply or redirect towards your debt reduction or to increasing your own personal cash flow. Whereas the multi-level marketing, it's a bit of the reverse. It can generate more cash flow, but it's going to take a little while to get there. And the nice thing about the multi-level marketing is you can grow 2, 3, 4 of these businesses. You can get you and your spouse can each have one, or you can have a couple yourself. But they are a legitimate business. They do take effort and time to build and grow, but they can be a fantastic source of revenue for you moving forward. All right, so that is the end of lesson number 3. It's also the end of module number 4. Which is going to take us into module number 5, which only has 2 lessons, but they're very big lessons. So there's lots coming down, and this is the new concept, the new strategy, rather, to achieve cash flow much sooner than in the original version of the 5 Homes to Freedom. So I'm very excited about getting into that one. You'll definitely want to come into it with an open mind. There's lots of numbers, I'm afraid, but I will try and simplify it as much as possible. With respect to module number 4, we will be having our Q&A on the Monday night. So any questions that you have, please save them till the Q&A, And then, of course, anytime you need anything at all or have any other questions, feel free to email me at ken@5homestofreedom.com. Look forward to seeing you on the live call and to get into module number 5.